Hello class, and welcome once again to our arithmetic time. Look what I've got here. You remember the formulas for a rectangle and formula for a square, for perimeter. We've talked about that already, but I wanted to point out that the same would be true for a parallelogram, tongue twister there, parallelogram, a rhombus, and shapes with four sides that two are equal for length and width, that you could still use that formula. You may add up. You're going to have a section where you take your ruler and you measure and can add up the sides for perimeter and get the number of centimeters. So you take your ruler and measure. Notice the centimeters are the smaller ones on this end. Obviously, what I have on my paper right here are not correct as far as how many centimeters they are. However, I wanted it to be big enough for you to see, but that is how you will do it. And, figure out that part of your paper, which I know you can do. I also want to go over some story problems. In your book, you really need to be getting to where you can figure these out on your own without the assistance of the teacher or your parents. For example, the first story problem in section 4 on today's paper, lesson 157. Let's see, Dana paid $4.27 for a poster of John Cabot. What change did she receive from a $10 bill? And when it says change, I want all the coins. So if she had $4.27, hopefully you can see that all right, and there was a $10 bill, sure, you could subtract. How much change would get it to the next dollar though? $5. All right, first, there's 27, so go to the next 10. How many? You know there's going to be 3 pennies to get to 30, right? So 3 pennies would be one part of your answer. You'd write 3 pennies, all right? And how much would give you to the next dollar? Okay, so think about that. Would there be dimes? Would there be quarters? What would be the simplest way with the few pieces of money? And in your answer, you're going to write 3 pennies, comma, 2 of this or 5 of this, this many bills, it's going to be a $1 bill, $2 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill. What's it going to be? And that is how you'll give your answer, but I'm not going to tell you. I want you to figure it out. What pieces of money and how many will be your answer for that one. Letter B, a library has 200 books about explorers. 2/5 of the books do not refer to John Cabot. How many of the books refer to John Cabot? So they told us what part does not refer to John Cabot. So remember that word not is very important. But we do know that there are 200 books. And then it says what? 2/5 of. What's the word of mean? Multiply. 2/5 of. And you can figure it out. But that's telling us how many do not. Right? So then once you figure that answer, what can you do to figure out, okay, if this many were not, how many were about John Cabot, right? How many do refer to John Cabot? And then, of course, if there were 200, and you know how many were not, then however many more would make 200, that would be how you would do it. So you figure that out. And then James Cook, the explorer to New Zealand, Australia, what else? Probably saw kangaroos. And some kangaroos are about 6 feet tall. Mark the number sentence that shows how many yards. All right, the kangaroo is 6 feet tall, how many yards? And you're going to fill in the bubble for what would give you, if they give you feet to go to yards, which one would it be? And you can figure that out. You should be getting to the point, you're almost in 5th grade. You should be getting to the point where you can figure it out. So I'm just going to say, figure it out. Can you figure it out? I can guide you, and parents guide them, but there comes a point where you've got to be able to figure it out. So figure it out. On page 239 in the back of your book, there are extra story problems and brain teaser, or what do they call them? Brain builders, something like that, that have story problems, word problems, and such like examples of problems that will help you to get better at the word problem and story problem. So I would encourage you to do that. So figure it out and see if you can do it, all right? And do a super job on that. Do you remember these signs? Greater than, less than, and equal? For example, 9 is greater than 6, so that's the direction it would be, all right? 3 is equal to 3, obviously, right? But see, you're going to have some with decimal. 2.75 is greater than 2.3, isn't it? And see if you can do that part. Greater than, less than, or equal to. And choose the correct one. Put the correct sign, nice and neat. Division problems. I'm still seeing problems with division problems, and there are some that you know, still having difficulty. So you know how to divide, and what it is when they're harder numbers that don't work perfectly, being able to estimate that. You really need to get to the point where you can do these 27 and do them well. Do them well. 27 into 83, right? We know 27 can't go into 8, so can it go into 83? It's less than 83, so we're going to put a number above that 3, aren't we? But what number? 27. Let's make it simple. 2 into 8, 4 times. But remember something, 27 is close to 30. So it'd be kind of like a 2 almost being a 3, right? 27 is close to 30. So if 2 can go into 8 4 times, 4 might work, but because it's a 27 close to 30, you might have to go down a little bit lower. So it might be 4. If it's too big, you might try 3, and then just keep working the problem. Once you get the first part, that's usually the part that's hard. It's just getting started. Once you get started, just keep going and show your work. I am having some of you that turn in things, even on tests and things, where there's just numbers. You should show all of your work. So parents, if they're not, do make sure that they show all of their work and not just have answers on a test. And if you're copying on a piece of notebook paper, like some of you are, you should still write it all out so I can see where you made a mistake. And still, you know, be able to tell what it is, so I'll know how to help you. And also help your parents to know how to help you too. If we can see the work that you did, that will help out a lot. And I need to see the work, okay? And write it out so that we can see it. All right, you do that, you do this. There's a quiz, so I wrote, take the quiz and submit the quiz, and shouldn't be too hard of a paper, a review paper today, and do the quiz. You have a fantastic day. Is there sunshine out there today? Enjoy that. And be getting exercise too. And during these times, even though we may be at work, at home, be moving and doing some of those things too. You take care and be looking for the next video.